What's good? J GLAZE here, sitting down with my man at AV Productions, chopping it up in the Washington, D.C. area. You know, we've been coast to coast in it lately, just seeing what's good in the hometown, you know what I'm saying? J GLAZE, I'm a producer, born and raised in D.C., currently working out of Staten Island, New York, Manhattan, and Las Vegas. Got studios and wherever you need to go, we could get it in. Basically, I've been working, started in the hip-hop game, working with Wu-Tang Clan. I'm messing with Corrupt from the Dog Pound. Now I'm getting more into pop with different artists, working with Joy Love. Check for her, up-and-coming artist, coming out real soon off of T-Rex Production. That's my label out west. Doing it big. Shout out to T-Rex, you know, trying to get on the map. There's definitely a lot of business-minded things going on, more so than I probably would like to assume. Actually, it's like I want to stay creative in the studio, but I have to run the studio, scheduling the artists, handling the accounts, paying the bills, doing, you know, just making sure it's all running smoothly. Also playing the role of my own manager right now, handling all my own interactions, you know, with artists, clients, and all of that. So definitely wearing a lot of hats, more so than I probably would like to in the upcoming years. But, you know, you do what you got to do. It's all coming together. Ideally, man, I just want to be writing music. That's really all I want to do every day, is just creating new music, you know, making beats, being in the studio. I mean, for real, it's like I mix, I do it all. I'm the total package, but really, I want to just sit back and create music. You know what I'm saying? So I started, my first instrument was the trumpet. I learned the jazz trumpet in grade school. I picked that up, 4th grade. Stuck with that pretty hard until I was about 18, but throughout that time, just learned the ins and outs of music, music composition, theory, you know, why certain music sounds the way it does. So, you know, I picked up the piano just trying to accompany myself on the trumpet. I play a jazz chord, just improvise over it, play something else, just messing around, you know? It's like, you know, it's like when you're a kid, you're just experimenting and you got to find your own niche. So then I started noticing, you know, I was into the jazz, but I was really just listening to hip-hop. Hip-hop was really possessing my whole lifestyle at the time. You know, listening to stuff like Tribe Called Quest, the original Chronic with Dr. Dre. I mean, I gotta say, big ups to Dre, man. He opened my ear up to a whole new genre of music. It's like I never would have even probably looked at this stuff twice if it wasn't for his talent in making it sound the way he made it sound. So, you know, I definitely like that old shit, you know, Public Enemy, Rick Rubin's the man too, but it's like, just me personally, it had to go through some level of refinement before it probably even made it out to the suburbs I grew up in, to be honest. It's like we didn't really have it, the exposure like the rest of the world. But definitely, you know, by the time Doggy Style came out, I was basically transcribing the music and saying, you know, I could make stuff like this, I could replay that, I could come up with the same stuff. I was also playing a lot of like Rough Riders songs in the jazz band, just trying to show off and just like play all these beats like people would recognize. I had the pep band at the football games playing some like Big Pimpin', Jay-Z stuff. I was writing out arrangements for them, and then, you know, I just fell into hip hop, and I kind of actually put the horn down when I was about 18 for a couple years, and I was only producing. So that also helped me kind of find my sound, you know, in terms of getting away from the jazz, but now it's really coming back to the jazz, because now it's like, you know, I picked the horn back up, obviously, if you've seen any of the recent music or footage or anything, but for me, that's like what differentiates me from a lot of these other producers. It's like not many dudes are really playing instruments, so the more instruments you can really play, you get that music sounding deep and rich in the way it's supposed to. Like, remember music, like, you know, before the 90s, the stuff everybody sampled throughout the 90s, I'm trying to bring it back to that original sound, so that making stuff that sounds like it was in the 70s and the 60s, get that Motown vibe. That's really where my head is. And again, shout out to Joy Love. Check her music, is coming out soon, but we're trying to take it organic all the way. Take your auto-tune back, you know? Genre is a funny word, man. Like, especially in the year 2009, it's like everything's been done. So it was easy throughout history. It's easy when something new comes out, you give it a name. But now that everything is just like a conglomerate of everything else, it's like, you know, in the 70s, if music came out, it would be funk. But what about when funk music comes out today, but it has an R&B singer, you know, it's got a jazz trumpet player, and it's got a drum machine for drums? Like, what do you call it? You know what I'm saying? It's like, there's really no genres today. It's just a matter of making good music to me. But, you know, I know what it is too. Like, I consciously, you know, I can make a dance record, a club record, a hip hop record, a reggae record, a pop record. And don't get me wrong, they all have certain elements that make them those things, but I wouldn't necessarily define myself as a producer who does one type of genre. I just make music. So whatever you need, come see me, you know, we'll get it in. In the Co. Shout out to Monk Co. It's Montgomery County for all you foreigners not from the Co. Nah, for real, life is good out here. I really can't complain. I'm not gonna pretend like it was a hard come up out here, man. Like, I'll keep it real. Like, I had a very fortunate upbringing. It might have, you know, had an influence on the fact that I was exposed to the arts and the music and really, you know, was provided, you know, I gotta shout out my parents, man. Like, they provided me with music lessons, like private lessons. It's like, where would I be right now if they weren't pushing me? And for real, I thought about this the other day. Yo, I wanted to quit the trumpet like 2 months into that shit. For real, I was like, this shit is whack. I'm not getting anywhere with it. I'm not feeling it. My mother would not let me quit. And I thank her, man. I thank her probably like once a month. I'm like, yo. And you know what I'm saying? It's always at times, you know, she might be getting under my skin, but you gotta remember shit like that, man. Like, people be having influences on you that you can't even imagine. You know what I'm saying? I'd have to say, you know, on the production end, the influences, gotta start with Dre, gotta throw Premier in the mix. That was definitely an early influence, man. For that hip hop sound, obviously, you know, he's like a god in that shit, man. RZA, it's another one, always looking to him for inspiration. That dude is on the moon. Fucking with Alchemist, he's a beast. High Tech, another beast in the game. J GLAZE, Kanye does his thing.